Welcome back, my little subscribers. Today I'm bringing you a second part on my thoughts about the Fuji X-E3. So it's been a while since I last made a video talking about that particular camera. There's a couple of thoughts that I have on it, having it now for a while. This isn't a long-term use review, but this is definitely a review of me using it long enough to know that I'm keeping it. And on the other side to that is I've already used a couple of other compact cameras, so I wanted to think about or reflect about it and compare a couple of those. If you're thinking about Fuji, this is one you should definitely think about or try out. So I've been looking for a compact camera that has high quality, not professional as so to say, like something you would use for a wedding or a portrait shoot strictly, but something that's easier to take with you, not as bulky and not as intimidating to carry around and photograph with, where people won't stare at you or look at you weird for pulling out a 70 to 200 millimeter lens that's ridiculously long and heavy. So first of all, this is my third or fourth compact camera now. I started a couple years ago with an RX100, and I mean, it's a 1-inch sensor. It is what it is. It's a good lens, good quality. You get the speed, you get the tech that Sony provides in that small camera. But I think the 1-inch just didn't cut it for me in terms of image quality that I'm after. And I definitely like to isolate my subject, or at least have the opportunity to do that, because I know you don't always need to do that. So RX100 didn't make the cut for me, so I moved on. For a while I had given up on compact cameras, and then I revisited, like I mentioned in my last video. I tried the Lumix 2500 with the Leica super zoom, from wide to super far zoom now, pretty amazing reach. Again, 1-inch sensor though. I thought I wanted to give it a chance, but the sensor's just too small. I wasn't getting the range quality that I wanted. I mean, I had the super zoom lens, but I wasn't getting that high quality out of it. Very zoomed in photos at the maximum range, 480 millimeters, which is why I got it and wanted to use that. Pictures weren't as sharp as I expected them to be, and you definitely need a lot of light because the f-stop of 4.8 or whatever translates to something much higher in full frame terms. So you always need bright sunlight. But even then, I remember I got a lot of failed shots, and in doing a couple of wildlife pictures on a walk here and there, I missed a lot of shots and I was disappointed with the quality. I would see it look really good in camera with the LCD and everything, and then I would get to home, look at it on the computer, and I'd be the opposite. I wouldn't see that high quality, so I don't know what was up with it. I just didn't like it, so I returned it. Then I tried the X100. I did not try the newest version, but I tried the second version. It gave me a good idea of what it was like to have that focal length equivalent to 35 millimeters at f2 or 2.8, whatever, once you do the math. That one gave me the chance to see what a Fuji is like, and I really liked it. The image quality was excellent. Even though it was older technology, the usage was very straightforward. I didn't get lost in menus or anything. I didn't mind that it didn't have any touch features or eye autofocus, all that good stuff that we have today. I returned it because I found out about shutter speed limitations, and the ND wasn't cutting it for me. And overall, since I was already kind of down about those limits, I was getting really overexposed images. I'm sure there's a workaround, but I didn't feel confident using it, so I didn't like it in the end. So I didn't want to give up on Fuji because I liked the image quality. When I did get what I wanted, it came out really good. So that brought me to make that other video on this camera, and this is the X-E3, and as you can see, it's really compact. And essentially I had this camera side by side with the X100, and they're basically the same size and probably the same width. There's not that much difference in terms of size and weight. I think the X100 was slightly heavier only because I think they included more metal in it. This one's a light version of the X Pro and XT2. Anyway, I'm a couple weeks in with this camera and I really like it, so I'm gonna go over a couple of features that I'm enjoying that would stand out to me in recommending this camera to you. The touchscreen. You might not think you need a touchscreen, and you could probably get by without one, but having a touchscreen makes your life easier. This camera has incorporated additional functions to the swipes, kind of like Leica does. If you swipe right or left, top or bottom, you get a different menu option that's specific to that swipe, and you can of course program it or whatever, but I found it fun to use, and so I'm enjoying that. And you can also use the touch screen when you have the eyepiece up to your eye, the EVF, and you can use it to change your focus point. So that's a win. Second, this is very, I mean, a lot of cameras do it, but this is just a standout. The Bluetooth function. It works very well with the app, and because I've been using more Fuji JPEGs lately, it's been just a breeze to transfer all my pictures to my phone in just a couple of seconds or even a minute. So I'm liking that a lot. This particularly Fuji camera and there's a couple of new ones that came out. They don't have the D-pad, like the arrow direction. They have a knob, and I really like this knob. I think it makes it easier to move through the menu and move focus points. So yeah, this knob makes it pretty easy to move through functions, and I like it a lot. Next, it is compact. Like you saw, I mean, I showed it to you right now. It's really compact. I mean, look at this. This is the kit lens. Well, I wouldn't consider it a kit, but yeah. Okay, next, this one's obvious. The image quality and the colors coming out of these things with the film simulations are really good, and I've only had to like transfer them to my phone and do minor contrast or white balance, basic stuff, and they look really good. So I'm really impressed with that. I feel like 1-inch sensors were making me work a little extra, and I was still not happy with the raw files. I've worked on a couple raw files with this camera, but I've been using the JPEGs a lot because they look nice. A cool feature is I'm shooting it raw plus JPEG. In case the JPEG looks perfect straight out of camera, I just transfer that picture. I don't have to mess with it on the computer. But let's say I don't like it 100%, or I decide I want to switch the simulation that I had picked. I can go to the raw file and I can process it on there, within the camera. I can switch the film simulation, and I can control the highlights and shadows, color, sharpness, noise reduction, all that good stuff. It's like having a compressed or light version of Lightroom in there, and it's pretty cool because something that I could have decided to initially take as Acros or Astia, I could change to classic Chrome or something completely different and not lose any image quality. But again, it's RAW plus JPEG if you want to do that, because if you just use JPEG, I don't think you can switch it to a different one. Okay, another cool thing about this compact camera is that it's compact and it's interchangeable lenses. It's not like an RX100 where you're stuck with that lens, or the Fuji X100 where you're stuck with that, although very good quality 35, you might get bored of that or want to use something different. So having the opportunity to have something this compact with high quality and be able to switch lenses is awesome. So I just want to talk really quick about lenses. I don't have a lot of experience with Fuji lenses, but the one lens I have been using is the 18-55, and I wouldn't consider it a kit lens, to be honest, because it performs way better than a kit lens would, and it's a 2.8 to f4, which to me is not like it's not quite a 24 to 105 f4. It's like an in between. It's a 28 to 85, around there, 2.8 to f4. So it's a good in between. I think it's a fair compromise to have a compact lens, because when you look at the size of the lens, it's really small. It doesn't protrude that much from the body, and I think this is a good baseline because most of their lenses, the f2s and even the 1.4s, are not longer than this. They're actually either this long or shorter than this. They might just be the same width or a little bit smaller width. So the 18-55 has been a great everyday multiple style variety type of shots, and I've been really enjoying that. And I'm gonna put some pictures here and there sprinkled, if you haven't seen some already, but just to show you the variety of shots I'm getting just with this one lens. So I'm gonna add the 35 f1.4. I'm gonna test that out soon, probably this week or next, and I'll get back to you on that one. But the 18-55 lives up to the hype that I've been hearing a lot about and the quality it delivers. So I really don't consider it a kit lens. I really do think it's a step up, and I mean, you could tell from the images. It's really good and it performs well. All right, so just to wrap it up, X-E3 is a great camera. For a moment, I considered returning it and getting a different one, but upon looking at specs and just usability in comparison, not having them, of course, just comparing them mentally, it didn't make sense to return it and get a different Fuji or a higher level like a X-T3 or a T30. It didn't make sense to me. I feel like this is a very good compromise. It's still very relevant technology. The ISO performance and the shutter speeds are almost identical with the X-T30. The extra megapixel count on the X-T30 is almost irrelevant, I would say, because it's only a 2 megapixel difference. ISO performance from the reviews and image comparisons I've seen are basically the same. So you're kind of getting the same technology with access to the same high quality lenses, which is really where the image quality comes from most of the time, for a very good price, because this is not a new camera and you can find a bunch of these used everywhere for a decent price. And I thought the other reason I thought about returning it, and I haven't done it, and I probably won't return it, I started comparing it to my A6400, which I'm using right now to record this, and I love this camera. I would not get rid of my A6400. It's just an amazing camera, and I'll probably review it with the lenses I use. I thought about it, and I'm like, why would I keep a Fuji and an A6400? They're very similar in size. Obviously, you don't have the same access to lenses and different options. But overall, I ended up concluding that I'm keeping both because the A6400 is basically my third body at a wedding because of the lens ecosystem I'm in right now, Sony. And it's my video camera, basically. That's what I use this for. My Fuji has its place now as the everyday camera. And although they're similar size and you can probably get equivalent lenses, the colors and the flexibility, it's a different type of enjoyment. I love all my cameras. I'm a freaking camera nerd. But every camera has something different to offer. And I think this Fuji has a spot in my kit as the everyday awesome film color simulation with compact lenses that I want. And if I want to switch it out, I'll just do that. But I think it has a good place. And if you're someone who's looking for either an extra camera for everyday or travel, it's a perfect camera because you have so many options. This is my last positive point that I want to mention. Last point I want to mention is Fuji has made their own system. They haven't really been sharing so that others can make lenses for them. And because of that, they've really put their time and effort into making so many lenses. But the best part is they are actually relatively cheap. Older F2s are under $400. And used, you can get them for $100 off of their brand new price. So for under $1,000, you can basically get 3 to 4 lenses. And that is crazy when you think about full frame, because one lens alone can cost that much or half of that. So it's kind of crazy to see that comparison, because some people are shooting weddings or other stuff with these cameras and lenses and they're getting excellent results. So you're not missing out by getting an APS-C with these high quality lenses. 56 1.2 equivalent to an 85 1.4 around there. You're paying $1,000. A G Master in that range is $1,800. So it's kind of crazy that. All right, that's about it. Thanks for watching. I'll have more for you soon.